All right. So today we'll be continuing our class on the topic of growth hacking. Today we'll be looking at growth hacking success and case studies. Um, Pretty much how to measure your growth and also how to measure your growth hacking. All right. Table of content. We're looking at key metrics for growth hacking. We'll be looking at common pitfalls and how to avoid them as regards in growth hacking. We'll look at some more case studies, growth hacking success stories. We'll be looking at integrating growth hacking into your product management strategy. We'll look at the future of growth hacking and creative launch. And we look at embracing the growth hacking mindset. All right. Right. So what are the key metrics for growth hacking, right? Pretty much what the pretty much what how do we measure that we are if we are hacking growth? How do we measure growth, especially when you're looking to how would I put it now? Just especially when you're looking at how well how well your product is growing, and so how do you get to know? What are the metrics that you measure? What are the KPIs that you observe? All right, I know previously we talked about some important KPIs. Some of them are actually mentioned here. But however, these are pertaining to growth, in terms of growth. All right, first one, we have the acquisition metrics. Right, these metrics help you understand how effective you are bringing new users to your product. Right, let me digress a bit. I'm still marking your last assignment. I'm almost done with it. So for some of you that have not yet seen your result, know that I'm still marking it. If, for instance, you are not in all of your assignments, you have not seen your result on all of the past assignments, either you are not submitting a link or you're not giving me access to your link, your first of all, there are a couple of you guys that they are not submitting links. You're just copying and pasting, and there's no way I can see what you are pasting because that field is already allowing for links. So if anything, if I see your assignment, I'm only seeing about um, the first five, not even the first set of letters. So because there's not like a page viewer where I can see all of your stuff. So if you are not seeing your your scores, either you are not you're submitting the wrong link. I saw some people they were submitting um their what's it called, the ID, their student ID. I'm like, I don't understand. What do you want me to do with your student ID? Some of you are submitting and you're not providing access. All right, or some of you your link is not accessible anyway. If anything, go to your link, check it, check if your link is accessible. If you can click on it and it takes you to a page. If that can happen, trust me, I've already marked your assignment. But if that has not happened, know that there's an issue, then reach out to me. So if you're not seeing um, your scores, aside this last one, go and check your link if you can access it. If you can't, then send me the new link. That's if you've submitted before. All right. So that's for that. So all right, acquisition metrics. So these metrics help you understand how effectively you are bringing new users to your product. Last we talked about customer acquisition cost, total cost of acquiring a new customer, including marketing and sales expenses. You're looking at traffic sources, where your users coming from, right? So is it organic search, is it paid ads, is it referral? So these are things that you need to track. You need to observe. You're looking at your conversion rate, which is the percentage of visitors who take desired action, whether by signing up to for your trial, you know, trial version. So this is the percentage of people who are coming to your website versus the people who are actually signing up to use your product. Okay, or from people who are trial version to people who are paying for your users for your product. So time to conversion, this is how long it takes for a visitor to convert into a user. That's also an important thing you need to track as well. So next is activation metrics. Activation metrics shows how well you are onboarding new users, getting them to experience your product's core values, right? So it is a thing of your how seamless your onboarding process is for new users to start, using your core values. All right. So if you're getting, for example, now um, if you're getting, you know, 100,000 downloads, you got 100,000 downloads. All right. And for some reason, out of the 100,000 downloads, um only 2,000 or 5,000 people will get to use the core functionality of your product. It means something is wrong. Right. It means maybe there's an hiccup somewhere in the process of them getting to start using your product. So that's something you need to observe in terms of activation metric. So a lot of people get excited, especially PM. Some get excited because, oh, I have many downloads, not understanding that it's not download that will give you success. It's not download is not, it's still like is the basis, is the lowest of anything that is significant in terms of your product. Yeah, it's good but download it, but after downloading, are they using your product? Are you paying for your product? So that's what I think that you need to observe and ensure that you are putting in place. All right, so time to value. So how quickly new users reach their aha moment or first value experience. That's important. Second one is onboarding completion rate. Percentage of new users who complete your onboarding process. This is very important. Maybe this person sign ups and didn't complete the onboarding, just stops at some few questions that you're asking, or from you know it could be anything based on how your solution is designed actually. But the fact that you have an onboarding process to help your users be able to find their way around your product. But if they are not finishing that onboarding process, that might also mean something. And you need to ensure you are tracking that. Feature adoption rate. This is the how many users are adopting key features of your product. All right, this is straightforward. And next one is week product as well. All right, so next we're looking at retention metric. Retention, I know we already talked about all this, but this is just to highlighting it in respect to growth hacking. Okay, so retention metrics, this indicates how well you are keeping users engaged over time. All right. So do you have does your solution really have what it takes to actually keep people coming back or keep people using your product? All right. So what you mention your churn rate, the percentage of users who stop using your product over a period of time. So this is very important. Let's check your retention curve. How many users continue to use your product over time? This is very important as well. Next, you're checking your daily, weekly, monthly active users. So your number of unique users who engage with your product in a given time. All right. So maybe let's say daily, how many new users, unique users do we have? In a over a month, how many new users do we have? And over a week, how many new users? So this will help you track whether you're actually attracting new customers and yeah, so whether you're actually attracting new users. So this is very important as well. And the rate at which you're attracting them as well. Okay. So next one is session frequency. how often users engage with your product. All right, so maybe um, someone sign up into your solution, right? Um, session most likely will be like, for example, now, how many times maybe today now I can count how many times some of you have gone to check WhatsApp today. All right, so for each time you go to check WhatsApp, all right, it's counted as a session. Or each time you go to check Instagram, it's counted as a session, all right? So if people are constantly coming back within a day to open your app and do something, that's a session. So if you have frequent session, it means that your product has something that is of value that people actually really want, all right? Then we have the duration session, all right? So how long does user spend in your product per session? So for that first session that they logged in, all right, to just do what they wanted to do, how long do they spend time, using your product, or that they are spending time? Is it because of they are finding your product engaging, or they are finding it to they are taking time? It's giving them time, taking the time to even find their way. So those are two things that could possibly be the issue, right? Especially if you know that your product is really seamless, really simple, right? Next is revenue metrics. These metrics help you understand the financial impact of your growth effort. All right, so like we talked about last week, you see the monthly recurring revenue (MRR) for subscription-based products. All right, the predictable revenue you generate each month. All right, so this is like you see some startup will tell you that, oh, we generate 50,000, 50,000, 50 to 20,000 USD in revenue per month. All right, so that's the recurring revenue, and this is mostly applicable to subscription-based products. All right, so what we have the average revenue per user. All right, I know we talked about this as well. The average amount of user you generate from each user, how much amount of revenue you generate from each user. All right, this is as well important. We have the lifetime value. This is the total revenue you can expect from a user over their entire relationship with your product. So this even gives you a vision or gives you insight on the potential growth that your product can have based on the expected lifetime value of your customer. Did you get it? So this is also something you need to know as well. So the LTV and CAC ratio, right? This is the ratio between the lifetime value as a customer acquisition cost, indicating the efficiency of your growth efforts. So if you calculate your lifetime value versus ratio customer acquisition cost, from the get-go, you can know how much you would totally make in total with a certain number of users if those users are consistent. So you can really tell that and know that, okay, for example, now if we have 500 users, all right, we have 500 users, and these users would most likely use our solution for the next 6 to 7 years, you know, okay. So you can then calculate how much you're likely to make for that 7 years, all right, and you then see the ratio of how long it even took you to acquire that customer in the first place. All right, so that's really important. All right, so next one is referral metrics. So if you are using a referral program or viral mechanism, this metric is crucial. So first thing you're looking at is the viral coefficient, the number of new users and existing user generates. Oh, nice. The number of new users and existing user generates. We're looking at the viral cycle time, how long it takes for users to invite another user who then become a user themselves. All right. So in terms of how long it takes for another person to invite. So this is really very important metrics there. Right? Actually, yes, if you're using the referral metrics, right, because you really want people to keep referring. Especially if you have hacked the kind of incentive that you know that is really attractive. So you really want to know how long it takes for another person to, for that another person to refer another person to start using your product. So another first thing you said is that they might even refer, but when did the referral, is it refer? Person they join, I just joined, but I didn't subscribe for that product. All right, so that's one thing as well. So referral rate is the percentage of users who make referrals. Referral conversion rate as a percentage of referred individual who become users. All right, so you see how these metrics are important for your product. All right, so remember, specific metrics you focus on should align with your product goals and stage of growth. Early stage products might focus. Okay. So it's important to look beyond vanity metrics that might look good on paper but does not translate to real business value. Always tie your metrics back to your core business objective. So along this lesson, we'll be along the line of this lesson, we'll be looking at some what vanity metrics literally means, and we'll see several examples of it as well. So that when something is vanity, the vanity means that it doesn't have any significant value to give you. All right, there's no continuity in it. It's a waste of time. That's what vanity is. So it can be looking like it is something important or something is but on the long run, it will not grow your business. It will not help to build revenue. So any metrics that fall into that category, and you know in a category of vanity, cannot any cannot help grow your business. Cannot it can't help you achieve growth. All right. So next one is common pitfalls and how to avoid them. All right. So yeah. So now we'll be looking at the vanity metrics and what it usually means. All right. So one of the mistake, like serious, one of the mistake that most PMs make is focusing on vanity metrics. Everyone just feels like, oh, because you're getting a particular number on a particular metric, you think that that's the important thing. You know that it does not enough to help you get to anywhere. All right. So vanity metrics are numbers that might look impressive, but don't actually indicate real business value or growth. For example, now say include total registered users without considering active users. Okay. So yeah. So now you're focusing on total registered users. So people who registered your product, who downloaded it, who sign up, but you're not looking at people who are actively using it daily. You're missing out. You are looking at page views rather than looking at without considering engagement. How are people engaging with the post or with whatever things you're looking at? You're missing out. You're looking at social media followers without considering interaction and conversion. You are missing out big time. So to avoid it, you focus on actionable metrics that generate that, that directly ties to your business goals. Always ask if these metrics go up, does it significantly indicate that our business is improving? So there should be, last time we talked about one of the things, we talked about the North Star metric, all right, which is literally the defining metrics that changes the trajectory of your product. So um, so if you have is if this metric goes up, does it genuinely indicate that our business is improving? All right. So avoid it, focus on actionable metrics that directly tie to your business goals. Always ask if this metric goes up, does it generally indicate that our business is improving? Okay. So use so what test. What's so what test? So if metric increases, ask so what until you reach a concrete business impact. So if you looking at it, you see, for example, now you are seeing your download increasing. So what impact product is impact of your product. So always ask so what, like question the metrics, like is this really bringing us helping us hit our milestone as a as a startup. All right, so you look at that. So examples of vanity measures, this is just one. There's, for example, now one would say, oh, feel good to look at your, let's say your product feels good to look at but lacks guidance for next step. So for example, now you have a product that it looks good but people can't engage vanity metrics. Email subscription is still vanity metrics as much as they're important, but they are vanity metrics because they can't really do so much in terms of like achieving your business. They impact, they have a way of contributing. But if you are focusing on that, you'll be missing the goal. Leads in sales funnel, all right? Marketing spend. So you're spending a lot on your marketing. You think that you're doing a lot. Just it's not if it's not converting, you're not. So let's compare with the action metric. So trial users versus converting users. So trial users, people that try that use the trial version. Trial version, they are not paying money, they are not paying for your product. So yes, you're getting trial version. Trial user might help you validate that okay, people are actually interested in your product. But if they are not paying for it, it means that there's an issue somewhere. You get the slide isn't showing. Since when was that? Anyone else seen the slide?
Yes, I can see the slide.
Slide is showing.
Okay. All right. Because I'm just sent a message from me saying she's not seeing the slide. All right. So the slide is showing. All right. So page views. All right. People are viewing your page. All right. But is it resulting to um compared to conversion rate, the rate at which people are are beginning to use your product. All right. So social media likes compared to social media engagement rate, right? Rate means that people are actually seeing your um your post, your social media post impactful, and they have something to contribute or they can engage with it. It's relatable. All right. So which is why sometimes I tell it's really important as a for most startup, right? If you're putting out content on your social media, unless you're doing announcement, that's when you should be posting picture like graphics, unless you're doing announcement, you know. But if it's not, you should be putting out some tips, if anything, tips, um, tips, um, you know, um, um, informations on what would benefit your users or something knowledge about or information on something that they are not aware of in the industry or common mistakes and things like that. Just make sure it's something that people can relate with. Those are the things you should put on your social media, all right? So that people can engage with and stuff like that. Rather than just putting graphics, or you try you never say like not just talk of engagement. And I have videos of people talking about things and stuff like that. Even you as the product person, at some point you might find yourself even having to share some of your thoughts on your social media page to boost engagement, right? And these are the things that draw people to want to try your product. All right, email subscribers versus email opt-in conversion rate. All right. Next one is leads in sales funnels rather than code analysis for sales funnel. All right. So a lot of people can be so focused on the leads in a sales funnel rather than seeing how well you can analyze how the kind of information that helps you analyze your sales funnel properly. All right. Some people, and another one could be your marketing spend. Oh, you're spending so much on marketing, but you're not looking at the return on investment. All right. So when you look at your customer acquisition cost, all right, is increasing the more rather than you should be reducing. All right. I mean you're not you know okay, it's even there, all right. So total customer acquired versus customer acquisition cost. So you can be thinking that we are acquiring more customers, but when you look at the customer acquisition cost, you realize that you're spending more to get that customer. Do you guys get it? So in a sense, you should be you should be doing as much, be putting so much creativity in your marketing to reduce your customer acquisition cost. That's such that the amount will take you to get. I know we did that calculation during our last class. The amount one of our classes, the amount will take you to acquire customers should be getting less and less and more, because it's now showing that people are speaking about your products. People are talking about, people really want your product. People are demanding from your products before you're even reaching out to them. Before you're spending money to reach out to them or to find them. All right. So next is then monthly revenue per customer rather than customer lifetime value. This is very, very important. All right. Very, very important. All right. That's for vanity metrics. So next one is neglecting product market fit. Neglecting product market fit. So in a rush to grow, it's easy to forget that sustainable growth comes from having a product that truly solves a problem for your target market. All right. That's what gets you a product market fit. If it's really solving a problem. So how to avoid it? Regularly gather and analyze user feedback. You need to do this. Monitor not just acquisition but also retention and engagement metrics. Measure your acquisition, not just your acquisition but also your retention and engagement metrics. Be willing to pivot or make significant product change if the data suggesting you haven't reached it suggests you haven't reached product market fit. So there's some point that you've literally done all the right possible thing, but for some reason, maybe the problem you are solving is not really worth solving. So pivot to something else. Do you get? So that's another thing. There's no big deal. There's no cost to it. Pivot to something else. Not every problem is worth solving. To be honest, not every problem is worth solving. So in fact, that's something you should also be having in mind as a product person. When your stakeholders are talking about some of your customers, you ask, is this problem worth solving? Is it a major problem that would also be profitable and in the long run viable? All right. So don't scale your growth effort too quickly. Ensure you have a product user truly wish. Ensure you have a product user truly wants or need. Remember last class we talked about that student mode and beta version. All right. This is where this thing comes in. All right. Whereby you are trying to not just quickly scale and start spending money on acquiring too many customers, trying to get customers and all of that, without being assured whether people actually want your product. People actually want to use your product. You get. So this is very important. Ignoring customer feedback. This is another thing you need to avoid. And ignoring customer, you are building for your customers, so their feedback is very, very important. So growth hackers can sometimes get focused on metrics and experiments that they forget to actually listen to what customers are saying. Like there's a statement in PM. You said look for the noise. Yeah, is it the noise? Yeah, I think that's what they usually say. Yeah, you know, okay, is it noise or look for um something about your customer, what your customer is loud about, where your customers are being loud about. All right, like literally what they are screaming, where the customers are screaming. All right. So this is where that's where you know where it really hot. All right. So that's what you should start looking for. All right. So to avoid it, you implement regular user survey. So you can see that there's no end. There's really no end to user survey and customer feedback session. There's no end. Because I know some over the course of this course, some people might be thinking that okay, this survey, this research, all of that is only at the beginning of our of your product life cycle. No, it's a continuous cycle that will always keep happening. You always keep because you were trying to refine and improve on your product. All right. Monitor and engage with users on social media and support channel. Very important. Use tools like Net Promoter Score to gauge user satisfaction. We already talked about this. Combine quantitative data with qualitative data feedback for a complete picture. All right, that's pretty straightforward. Okay, so scalability, lack of scalability. All right, so some good acts work well at small scale, but fall apart when you try to scale it or grow it. For example, personalized outreach might work great for 100 users, but it's not sustainable for for 1,000 users, right? Right. So you have to start looking for. You might there's some strategy that you might. So what is pretty much saying is that there's some strategies that you can do that you can deploy that might actually work when you have a lesser number. It will work effectively. By the time you start growing, you now start thinking of how what you can do that will give you that you can scale. What you can do because those things might not just be applicable when you have one number. That same approach. So you might not be thinking of what can we do? Can we deploy a level of automation or whatever or level of a kind of integration or things like that, rather than having that thing be done by a person or something like that. So these are things that you want to consider as well. So to avoid it, always consider a long-term scalability of your growth strategy. So if you have a particular strategy, can you guys hear me? Promise, are you sure it's not
Your
your
voice
network?
Yes, sir.
is breaking. I've moved around. Still breaking.
Everyone can hear me. Promise, are you sure it's not your network?
I don't know. This is from this area, but because I've been moving around the whole places to get network. I don't know if
That's
it
to
is
be
from
from your
this.
end because everyone else can hear me. Okay. All right. So what's the next one we're looking at? So yeah. So automate process where possible without losing the essence of what makes them work. So when you ask something, a particular thing, you know that this process personalized using sending, for example, now when you're I don't even talk in terms of tech product now. For example, now let's look at a normal product. All right, maybe it's a cosmetics or stuff like that, and you realize that the way you package your cosmetics and the perks and the things that you put inside, letters or things like that, has a way of really retaining your customers, right? And before you're the one that always do unpacking of all of these things, right? But you've seen when you had about 10 or 100 users, 100 customers, it was good, it was easy. But by the time your customers start growing, right, you start thinking of how you would still maintain that essence, but now maybe automate it, right? You can start looking at getting. Now I'm not talking about software. Now I'm talking about normal products, right? Which is why you notice that some, people are going into creating machines that can do those things, that can package those things. So since your customer is going, now you want to look for a machine that can do all of those packaging, include all of those items, and move everything fast. Do you understand? So that's something you want to start thinking of because some people don't know how to think of scale. Most people don't know how to think from a scalable mindset. All right. So if you start burning out, you start stressing your your what's it called, your team, rather than thinking of what can we do, what kind of thing can we implement to make this process automated. All right, whereby the automation means that it needs less human participation to get it to work. You get, or less human involvement. So build system and frameworks that can grow with your user base. Very important. So regularly reassess your strategy as you hit different growth milestones. So there might be some a growth strategy that will work for 100,000 users, but might not work for 500,000. There might be a growth strategy that might have worked for 500,000 users, might not be able to work if you want to hit 10 million users. There may be a growth that might work for 10 million. That might not be effective if you're looking to hit into 500 million users. All right. So these are the things that you evaluate over time when you hit a certain milestone. All right. Very important. So next one is the ethical concerns in growth hacking. Ethical concerns in growth hacking. All right. So in pursuit of growth, it's crucial not to cross ethical lines. All right. This could include misleading users, violating privacy, exploiting loopholes in other platforms. All right. So don't cut corners, guys. Don't cut corners. Don't use misleading information to get users. Don't violate people's privacy. Getting data from them in a very uh, illegal way and things like that, all because of you're trying to get groups. Don't get people's contacts in a very, you know, um, manipulative manner or things like that. Don't promise that you want to do something for, for you're going to do something for a particular number of users that does this, and you end up doing it. You're going to spoil your reputation as a brand. All right, so always prioritize user trust and long-term relationship over short-term gain. So if there's something you're trying to implement, all right, that that even if it will affect 30 of your users, sometimes it's better you should not. Find a way to rectify or remedy whatever the issue that your 30 users and those 30 users that probably should be affected and are not affected. Even if they're affected, you have a way of making sure that things are going good for them. Because you'll be shocked that you think you just 30, might even be more than that. And even aside that, you'll be shocked that that 30 can cause something that would affect people's perception of your brand. Because word of mouth is very powerful. Word of mouth is very powerful. If someone says trying to consider your product, and someone decides to say, no, don't try this product, or before you know, it spread like wildfire, and you'll be shocked how much it can affect your retention. So if anything, you should be ensuring that you are satisfying all of your customers. When I say all, I mean all. If someone drops a review, don't say, it's just one person out of 500,000 users that we have. Bruv, ensure that user has all of as is pacified, is giving whatever thing they need to ensure that they are good. All right. So yeah, because those are the mistakes most people, especially when they start growing, they start thinking that some people's review or feedback um, not should not be considered or are very uh, you know you just disregard it and things like that. All right. So be transparent about your data collection and usage practice. You notice that most products would ask you that, okay, these are the things they'll be collecting from your phone, all right? And do you agree to it before you can use the app? And you be the one to say that, okay, well, yes, so we agree, and they'll be collecting those data from your phone. All right. Respect the time of service of platform you interact with. All right. So if you're using any other integration platform, respect their time of service. All right. Consider the potential negative impact of your growth strategy and not the positive only. So when you're thinking of strategies, start thinking of, is there any negative impact? Is there anything that will happen or would happen negatively if we go through this route? All right. You should also think of that as well. Neglecting core product experience. neglecting core product experience. Sometimes in a rush to acquire new customers, we can neglect the experience of our existing users. I think this is very important as well. You know, there's a way you are focusing so much on new users that you neglect your existing users. All right, neglect that what the process you've not optimized the process of their complaints. So they are giving you feedback on something and things like that. So rather than rather than solving you know the issue that they're experiencing, the bottleneck they're experiencing, bugs they are getting and stuff like that, all you're doing is still building new features to attract new customers, or to attract a new market segment and things like that. And your existing customer are crying and complaining about a particular feature that should have been resolved or should have been um, resolved. Right. So regularly allocate resources to improving your core product experience. Very important. Monitor retention rate to closely as closely as possible. All right. So when it's fine, you should have a threshold of what is too much in terms of retention you get. So by the time you over like 1 month and you realize that maybe you already said that in the percentage of retention should not be more than 5%, like of churn. Or your churn rate should not be more than no 5 maybe oneself is a lot. Should not be more than 1% of within the time frame or stuff like that. That's if the person eventually comes back after a few months. But you should have like threshold of when you hit this number or this. I don't know those people who have traded before. There's something we call set stop loss when you're trading. All right. So something like that where you just said that if anything for eventual we cross this line, you know, something is seriously wrong. We need to start checking on it because of course retention people will be returning. You will see people leaving. All right, for some separate reason. Their leaving might not necessarily be because your product is not good. It might just be because some of them don't have money again, and nothing you can do. All right. So, all right. But there's a number that you know that if you're getting this number, you're getting this particular churn, all right, or the retention rate is reducing, all right. It means something is wrong, all right. So you check that. Um, gather feedback from long-term users and not just new users only, right? Keep running those net promoter score, reaching out to them, see how well they are they still satisfied with your product. Ensure that the new features of growth initiative don't negatively impact existing users. So if you're trying to do something, an initiative or build a features, ensure that that feature it does not impact existing users for new users, right? Don't let it impact existing users. All right, so next one we're looking at is overcomplicating growth strategies. Overcomplicating growth strategies. So this end is just that you are doing too much and getting carried away with complex stuff or multifaceted growth strategy. So you can find yourself doing your own lots. You're just doing on really unnecessary stuffs and making all your everything complicated. All right, the simplest approach are the most effective one, to be honest, and that's the truth. If whatever you're doing seems to be too much, probably you're not doing well. All right. To avoid it, stay with simple and straightforward growth experiments. Simple. Trust me, the things that work in products, right, are the most simple things. It's just how you are effectively implementing it, and you are measuring it and ensuring that you are doing it right. Focus on the ones that are the key growth levers at the time. Thoroughly test and optimize simple strategies before moving to a more complex one. All right. Remember the 80-20 rules. All right. So 80% of your result will come from the 20% of your effort. That's it. 80% of your result come from the 20% of your effort. So it means that you have to find what that 20% is so that you can scale that 20% or to get more percentage out of it. Right. Ignore the competition. Ignoring the competition. You don't want to get to do this, right? Because you might be feeling like, oh, we have the best product, we have the best product. Don't ignore competitors. All right, because you are really in a serious battlefield when you pick up products that you know you have competitors, people that have the same kind of product as you in the market. Bro, why you should be obsessed? Why you should be obsessed? Um, Completely ignoring why you should, even though you should be obsessed with competitors, doesn't mean you should be completely ignore them, all right, or leave your blind to important market trends or opportunities. All right, so what you need to do is regularly conduct competitive analysis, like every at a set amount of times. Know what, analyze what your competitors are doing, and know how what they are doing differently, or what they are doing differently from you. All right, stay updated on new industry news and trend. Learn both the success and the failures of your competitors. Very important. Use competitors' insight to inform, but not dictate your own strategy. All right. So it doesn't mean you have to copy exactly what your competitors are doing. So that's what this means. All right. So now we'll be looking at some case studies. We're looking at some couple of products, majorly um, popular products that you guys are aware, and look at how they were able to hack growth. Majority of them were able to hack growth. All right. So we're looking at Dropbox, LinkedIn, and a couple of other products that that hacked growth and how they did it. All right. So Dropbox referral program mastery. All right. So Dropbox program is often cited as one of the most successful growth hack of all time for good reasons. Here is its simple mutual benefit. So this is how they did it. So both transfer and transferee get extra free storage space. So if you transfer to someone and person transfer to you, you get free. If you transfer to someone, right, the person that you transfer to and the person that you transfer, you get an additional transfer storage. All right, you get free storage. So you want to transfer things more, so that you and both persons will get, free storage. What a brilliant idea! Because Dropbox is like Google Drive. All right, you get. So it's very important. Easy sharing. Dropbox makes it incredibly easy to invite friends directly from the app. All right. Clear value position. Benefits of extra storage was immediately used, understandable and desirable. But because now that everyone is going cloud and everything like that, and also the fact that um, you can access your stuff anywhere. All right. You don't necessarily have to use, honestly. In fact, people right now are even moving all of their stuff to the cloud. Even if you have some things in your phone, because your phone can get lost. Your system can something can happen to your system. So imagine you have a place in the cloud where you can just store all of your stuff without knowing that without you losing them at any point in time. All right. So results, these referral programs help Dropbox to grow from 100,000 to 4 million users in 15 months. That's in a year and a half. So you go from 100,000 users to 50 to 4 million. 4 bloody million. All right. It's estimated that the program increased sign up by 60% permanently. All right. So key takeaways, make your referral program simple, mutually beneficial, and closely tied to your product core value. All right. Okay. So in its early days, Airbnb faced a classic. Airbnb Ghost was using Craigslist to hack growth. So Airbnb faced the classic chicken and egg problem. They needed hosts to attract guests and guests to attract hosts. So you need one to attract the you need the other one to attract the other one. It was a very funny scenario actually. Because for example now you even both self in a sense, all right. Um, One of the reasons why you want to use a particular ride, is because they have more um, a ride alien app because they have more rides. And one of the reasons why riders want to join a particular ride alien app because they know that they have more riders, more drivers. So it's literally can look that way too as well. So identify the target audience. So what they did was they identified their target audience. They realized that many potential homes were already listing their property on Craigslist. All right. Um, so they create a seamless integration. They built a feature allowing Airbnb users to cross-post their listing to Craigslist with one click. You get so leveraging an existing platform. So this gave Airbnb access to Craigslist massive user base. Amazing, amazing. All right. So this hack gave Airbnb a significant boost in both listing and booking, helping to kickstart their growth. All right. So one thing you have to do is look for a way to piggyback on existing platform where your target users already spend time. All right. So in fact, they might be spending time on the more traditional means places. It might not be a platform, it might be places. For example, now you are doing a what's it called? Your app is a fitness app that that help people to regulate to what's it called? That shows people help people to do their what's it called? What example am I trying to use? Okay, that shows you exercise, exercise that you can do on your own and gives you ways to track it and all of that. All right. But you know that all you just need to do is just collaborate with gyms everywhere. You don't need to start, so go to gyms and start, you know, meeting, partnering with them and, collaborating with them so that people who are fit farm enthusiasts can use the product. So Hotmail, how did Hotmail how did Hotmail hack app growth? So the original viral marketing. So Hotmail, which is now Outlook, all right, um, implemented one of the earliest and most famous examples of viral marketing. Okay, signature line promotion. So they added PS I love you. Um, get your free email at Hotmail to the bottom of every email sent through their platform. So this is a very creative approach. All right. So leveraging existing behavior. Every time a Hotmail user sent an email, they were unknowingly promoting the services. Why? Because they already have a signature there. So whenever you send an email, it will show that from. I think even right now, sir, even phones do that now, sir. If you send an email with iPhone, it will show by the order from iPhone, from um from iPhone. Even Samsung does that from Samsung or things like that. If you send an email, so that's something as well. Or even I think Twitter too was doing it too. Even on Twitter, too, they'll show something like this thing was tweeted from an iPhone or tweeted from something like that. So I think Twitter too had something like that. So I think it was Twitter very removed. I'm not sure if it's today. All right. So um, clear call, clear call to action. So the message included a direct link to sign up for Hotmail. So after you've seen that message, that thing is even a link that you can click that takes you to Hotmail. All right. The results and tactics helped Hotmail acquire 12 million users in just 18 months. At the time when the internet had only 70 million users. Ooh. So they even got about 20% of the internet at that time. All right, of the internet users. So key takeaway: find ways to find existing users, to turn existing users into marketers by leveraging the normal usage of your product. So in a way, you can incorporate, a way whereby your users can become marketers to help people even launch your own product. Okay. For example, now there's some product that you see people use that they will see the one that they'll put powered by something. So you use the product to do something you want to do, but inside that product for other people, that don't even know that that's what they can know what app you're using to do that thing done, to get that thing done. So you see powered by something. So in a sense, you are using the product, but inside the product, for whatever, you can still see that they are advertising themselves to for other people to know that this is what they are, this is what these people are using for what they are doing. All right. I'm thinking of taking some example of product like that, but I know I've seen a lot of products that you see under they'll put powered by something. For example, now I think I can't remember. Um, is it even Linktree itself? Linktree, there are a couple of apps that does that actually. A couple of them. So the simple tactics is okay. Takeaway is okay. I already did that. I think I do. Okay. All right. So next one is LinkedIn, the power of network effect. So how they need to LinkedIn had their own growth. All right. So um, LinkedIn growth strategy is a masterclass of leveraging network effect. First thing is profile completion. LinkedIn encourages users to complete their profile by showing a progress bar, tapping into people's desire for completion. All right. So if you notice, if you don't come, you would. Okay, this is something LinkedIn does a lot anyway. So connection suggestions, right? So LinkedIn constantly suggests new connections, making it easy for users to grow their network. All right. Email notification. LinkedIn sends regular emails about profile views, connection requests, and network updates, bringing user back to the site. Public profile. By making user profile visible in search engine. All right. So LinkedIn increases its visibility and attracts new users through organic search. Awesome. Next is so results. This strategy helped LinkedIn grow to over 500 million users across 200 countries. Design your product to become more valuable as people use it. Make it easy for users to invite others and expand their network. Okay, so those are the examples of case studies that pertain to growth. All right, so next now we'll be looking at integrating growth hacking into your product management strategy. Integrating your growth hacking into your product management strategy. So how do we do that? So we're looking, first way is to build is building a growth oriented team. Building a growth oriented team. All right. So first thing is that your cross function um encourage collaboration between product, marketing, engineering, and data team. So in a sense, there should be a cross-functional collaboration, functional team collaboration. Very important, right? Because there are some ideas that your product need that the only team that can bring you light into that is the marketing team. There are some ideas that your product will need that the only set of team that probably be able to figure it out is the data, the data analyst team. All right. Because there's a way they just figure that you can use data to do this, to do that, to do that, just that way that in a way that it will help your solution to achieve what they need to achieve at the phase that they're in. All right. So you should be able to collaborate across all of your team, get insights, brainstorm together with everybody. Remember when we talked about our brainstorming session? It's a session that everybody on the team has to do, not just your engineers, because engineers they are thinking are linear. All right, they're not they don't have so much creative thinking capabilities, well, compared to someone who is a content creator, who is a marketing team, or someone who is So yeah, so this is very important. So hire for curiosity. All right. So when you're trying to bring people into your team, look for team members who are naturally curious and eager to experiment. Look for people who are curious, people who are eager to learn, to figure things out, to know what makes something tick, or than to experiment. So, and second one is develop a T-shaped skill. Encourage team members to develop broad knowledge across discipline with deep expertise in one or two more areas. Create a dedicated group team. Consider forming a specific team focused on growth experiments and optimization. Okay, so for the next one is fostering a culture of experimentation. right? Because when you're trying to get when you've active product market fit, you're trying to grow, right? You would try you will have to try a lot of things, and a couple of things you feel at, But if you have an experimentation mindset, all right, you won't feel bad when you feel at something. You see it as an opportunity for growth, all right. So embrace failure, all right. Treat failed experiment as learning opportunity, not a mistake. All right. Rapid iteration, encourage quick experiments and fast decision making based on data. All right. Next one is hypothesis driven development. So what you need for this is frame new features and changes as hypotheses to be tested. So if you have any new features that you're trying to build, see it as an hypothesis. You don't think that it is going to work. You don't think that it is automatically going to work. You've done research, everything, until you start seeing users engaging it and you're getting solid feedback before you can validate that whatever new features you are bringing is solid. Right. Celebrate learning. Reward team for insight gain, not just successful outcome. So you might even deploy a strategy, an initiative, but over the for what your outcome for that is this was not achieved. But you know, over the period where you run that initiative, you learn some things. So for the things that you learned, even though you failed eventually, let your team should celebrate on the things that you learned, the insight that you gained over that period of experimenting. All right. So aligning growth hacking with product vision, very important. All right. So ensure your growth effort aligns with your overall product and business objective. That one is very important. Prioritize user experience. Never sacrifice long-term user satisfaction for short-term growth. All right. Never do that. Never do that. All right. So balance acquisition and retention. Balance acquisition intention. So focus on sustainable growth, not just user acquisition. So a lot of people there was one time like that there was one e-commerce this thing I was getting a feedback from. All right. So what their mistake was doing was that they were spending so much on ads, on content, on marketing, but their product, customers were always complaining about something. And the complaint was based on the fact of some things as from how things were handled in the warehouse, and how sometimes how um, products were packaged and sent out, or even the where they were sourcing the quality of the product based on where they were sourcing it from. So they were they were having these major complaints weekly, week on week, and they were specifying their customers. For the ones that complain, they will give them what's it called? Give them discount and things like that. Some they will do refund, but that was eating the into the brand to the point where people were no longer coming back. So by the time they look at for so if anything, people a lot of people were no longer coming back. All right, because you're not continuously serving your old customers, ensuring that they are always satisfied. All right, whether you are focused on getting new customers. So as much as you're focused on getting this customer, you are looking at the experience that your existing customer have. Right, are they constantly being satisfied? Do they have is your experience? Are they? I hope they are not get dropping. Um, you know. You know, sending requests, complaints, and you're not doing anything about it. All right. So it's very important that you balance this. Very, very important. All right. So integrate growth into the market product roadmap. I mean, consider growth potential when prioritizing your future as well, right? So when you're prioritizing your futures, look at features that would help with ensuring growth, achieving growth. Right, next thing is balancing short-term growth and long-term sustainability, like we mentioned there, right? So focus on core values, ensure your growth effort enhance, not distract from or your product core value proposition. All right. So don't focus on any kind of anything that distracts you from your product's core value proposition. All right. Monitor quality metrics, not vanity metrics. All right. Keep a close eye on user satisfaction. Very important. Whether new users or existing users, everyone has to be satisfied. Your product quality as you grow. All right. Some people are very terrible at maintaining their what's it called, their app, because you see nothing that they built so much of a robust app, right? And because of you have different hands working on your product, a lot of your engineers have tampered with many things, and a lot of things are just breaking. You know, a lot of customers are are established. Your app is shutting down or is crashing constantly and things like that. But you don't know because you're not tracking these things. You're not scratching, looking for defects. You are not constantly, testing, doing regression tests, going back and testing all your workflows and see everything is sure, nothing is broken. You know, that you prioritize any um any uh any bugs that's reported by customer. Prioritize it, ensure that those things are fixed. And once you're looking at building new features, your bugs, everything reported by your users should be resolved ASAP. All right. So very important as well. So next is sustainable acquisition channel. Don't rely too heavy on any single channel that could disappear or become too expensive. It's very important as well. All right. I don't know. I think there was a time when so in fact you should be in a way whereby if social media even shut down, once social media shut down, all right, platform shuts down or get banned or whatever, you should still know that you are getting customer across some other platform as well. So don't depend on one platform or one channel. All right. Aside social media self, your other means, other ways, very other ways to acquire users. So don't just focus on one. All right. So that if something happens to that one, you feel like you've lost all your customers. You are not able to get new customers. So invest in infrastructure. Ensure your products can handle growth without degrading performance. So if you're trying to expand for more users, make sure that you're investing on your infrastructure. Ensure that you have all of the capacity to get these new users. You're expanding your bandwidth, and your storage and everything for for these new users. Okay. So what does the future of growth hacking look like and creative launch? What does the future of growth hacking and creative launch look like? Um, so in this world where we have AI, we have a lot of things, virtual, augmented and virtual reality, and things like that. All right. So how do we see growth hacking in the next future? All right. So example we are looking at, we see something like personalization at scale. Right? So with the advancement of AI and machine learning, hyper-personalization user experience are becoming more visible. So you can have a product where for individual users, they have a personalized experience. Personal. So if you can do that and even get it based on your body system or body, when you're able to, just ask a few questions and your solution can just be tailored to that person, based on their needs and the specificity of that person. And when you have AI involved and machine learning, you can quickly learn from that users, and in fact, you can your the solution will be adapting to the users' needs continually because of how they're engaging, how they're using the product. All right, in fact, modules will be rearranged. Yeah, your solution, or easy modules, your app will be rearranging so as to suit the most used what's it called, the most used features for that user in a certain way, So things like that. Voice and conversational interface. All right. These are becoming more prevalent as well, growth hacking. So voice and conversation interface, whereby now people don't even need to or type into your app or your this thing. They can just speak to you. Your AI stuff has a way of just carrying out the task for them without having them type or do anything. So augmented virtual reality. So this technology is open to new possibility for immense product experience and viral mechanisms. So you guys know what VR and AR and VR means now, augmented reality, right? Okay. So privacy first growth with increase of privacy regulation and user awareness. Growth strategy will need privacy user prioritize privacy user privacy and data protection. All right. So what's the role of AI and machine learning in the future of growth hacking, right? So in areas like predictable analytics, AI can help to predict which user are likely to churn and convert. Imagine having that, allow more targeted intervention. So imagine you have AI that can help you to predict which user is likely to churn or convert. You know how to focus who to focus your attention on the most. All right, so automated experimentation. All right, machine learning and algorithm can help you optimize your A and B testing and multivariant testing. All right, this is very important. We already talked about where you have been testing it. All right, potential personalization. AI can help deliver highly personalized content and product recommendation. Brilliant. Chatbots and virtual assistants. AI can also provide scalable personalized user support and onboarding. All right, this is something that's actually very very right now. All right. Ethical consideration and responsible growth. This is something that so being open and about your data usage and growth tactics will become increasingly important. So people as in the nearest future, right? Whatever data, whatever growth mechanism you want to do, you might have to be very transparent about it, to your users or to regulators or whatever the case may be. User control, giving user more control over their data and experience will be crucial. All right, that's true. Ethical AI, as AI becomes more prevalent in growth strategy, ensuring it's used ethically will be a key consideration in the future. Yes, I agree with that. Sustainable growth. Focus will shift from growth at all costs to sustainable growth, responsible growth that consider broader impact. All right, so this is something as well that you need to that might possibly happen as well. So embracing growth hacking mindset. All right, so this is just in a final note, right? Embracing growth mindset is more than just setting set of tactics, guys. It's a mindset. So it's something that is a mindset that you embody as a product person. And I would like that everyone has this mindset, even as you begin to as you start your journey in product management. That even from the get-go, you already have a growth mindset, and so it's all about being creative, one, data-driven, and relentless focus on growth. Like growth means increased number of users, not just users, increased number of users that will convert to what to no, let me just say increased number of paying users. Less specific. Increased number of paying users. That's growth. People that are bringing the money, users that are bringing money. That's growth. Because you can have more users and you're not getting more paying users. You will not have growth here too. You get. So that's very important. So as a product manager, incorporate this principle into your work. Incorporating this principle into your work can lead to remarkable results. So just to to buttress on the things that we talked about, always start with your users. All right, understand their needs, pain point, and desires. Right, and this will touch on what we talked about from yesterday as well. Be willing to experiment and fail, guys. Be willing to experiment. You see something, experiment it. It might not work. If it works, fine, scale it. All right. Not every growth hack will work, but each attempt provide valuable learning, guys. Let Giga guide your decision, but don't forget the human element. Combine quantitative with qualitative feedback. Very important. Stay ethical. All right. Build trust with your users for long-term and sustainable growth. Keep learning and adapting. Learn trends, know what is happening in your industry, and even outside the industry, even alternate industry or other things like that. Just make sure you are learning how things are improving and changing in tech world, so that you can know what feature you can deploy, leverage, or even bring into your own product. All right. Any new technological new technological breakthrough or anything like that, read upon it, learn about it, get expertise to to get to get experts to see how they can leverage those information, those things, those breakthrough into your product. Right? Use users in user behavior is always changing, so should your your strategies your strategies would change as well. All right. So whether you're launching a new product or looking to grow existing one, I hope this strategy insights to help your journey pretty much. So remember, the most successful growth hackers are those who never stop learning, experimenting, and uh, experimenting and iterating. All right. So any question, guys? Any question? Any question? Question, feedback?
Thank you, sir, for the class. I just want to say that we've covered the whole lot, and for me, I'll have to go over it again, and then if I have any questions, I'll tag you on the group. Thank you.
Okay, all right. So, and if you guys have questions as pertain to what is being taught, maybe I'm open to answer these questions. But any questions as pertain to other things, you might not literally see my response that much. But if it's pertain to what is being taught, you'll get my feedback quickly.
Hello, sir.
All right.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, please, I have a question.
Okay.
Is there any place you talked about cost per acquisition?
Is there what?
Is there any place, because my network was bad, is there any place you talked about cost per acquisition?
Cost per acquisition. Yeah, we talked about that yesterday.
Okay, what's the difference between cost per acquisition and
Was it yesterday? I think
customer?
it was even last week. So.
Okay,
Hmm.
because I going through the slide, so I don't know. It's conflicting. Cost per
Yeah,
acquisition, because still
there is a okay. I can explain that, but there
is my network. No, my network has come more.
acquisition cost, right? Customer acquisition cost. Is that what you're
Yes,
asking?
sir.
And what?
Yes, sir. No, I saw something like cost per acquisition and then customer acquisition. The cost. I'm asking if they are the same thing, because I didn't get it clearly. My network was bad then.
Was it today or then?
Today I
I'm
heard
not sure I
something
mentioned.
like cost CAC as in cost.
Okay, yes, I did
acquisition.
mention that. Yeah, cost. So I talked about the customer acquisition cost, and I talked about the customer lifetime value (LTV). All right. So yeah, it's already
Okay.
straightforward, which is the cost it takes to acquire your customers, and the customer lifetime value is usually what what the expected um, um, what a customer will give you, the amount the customer will generate, one customer will bring to you over their period of using your product. Do you get that?
Yes.
So
Okay.
if one
Okay.
customer for the LTV, if a customer with it's possible that one customer will use your product for about 5 years. All right.
Mm.
All right. If they are paying every month paying a particular amount every month, how much will that one customer give you for that 5 months, for that 5 years? All right, that is to say that if that customer is fully subscribed to your product, so you can know that okay, I'm able to make about $5,000 from one customer in the next 5 years. So that it can help
Okay.
you know. So if you then have about 5,000 or 50,000 users, so you know that in the next 5 years, if those users are still subscribing, there's possibility for you to have this amount of revenue in 5 years. Do you get it? So that's what LTV helps you to calculate.
Okay. Oh, thank you, sir.
All right. So customer acquisition cost is literally just how much it costs you to acquire. So in terms of if you are the money you're spending on your ads, marketing and things like that.
This is my network.
Someone is saying about class. I hope it's not his phone. It's opening here now. All right. Any other question, guys? Okay. In the absence of none, thank you so much, guys. So I should drop an assignment for us this week. So for our project, we'll be looking at something for our project, right? We'll be doing something very, very not something technical, but just something that, because I noticed that most of our assignments, you guys were just using ChatGPT. So there's what we do for our project, very practical stuff that you likely won't be able to even use AI yourself. So that's something we're going to do for our project. It's a 2 week thing. So when that period comes, I'm going to share it and everyone can start working on it. You will literally need to go out and meet with customers because the way the question is, you can't type it. If you type it, I will know. And if you use AI, your what's it called? You will miss out on a lot of scores. Right? You really miss out on a lot of scores because I will need some. In fact, not your jottings. A lot of things I will see when I drop the question. All right, so that you guys can really do these things and know it for yourself. All right, rather than just typing prompt on AI and just getting things like that. All right. So yeah. So thank you very much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your week. Bye.
Thank you, sir.